Hi, my name is Seng. I'm the executive director of Project Dignity, and most of you know us as Dignity Kitchen or Dignity Mama. Uh, Basically, I'll give you some background what Project Dignity does. Started about 12 years ago. The idea is to create jobs for people differently able. So inside here, we've got people who are physical, mental, social, intellectual. Physical is somebody who lost a limb, mental as in schizophrenic, bipolar, social as in abuse cases, and intellectual of young people or elderly people IQ 70 below. So it's a training program where we take them in and we train them and we get them jobs, right? So if you ever come across the Project Dignity, we have a Dignity Kitchen, which is a food court training center in 69 Boon Keng Road. It serves normal food, hawker food, and we have 5 bookshop which sell second-hand books in 5 hospitals, right? The way we approach this people with special needs, actually you're just job creator. We create job for people with special needs. So for example, first of all, we must skill them. So we use cooking as a basis. So for example, we teach you how to manage a food store, how to cook, how to do food preparation. So the whole point is that we don't give you the fish, we teach you how to fish. So once you got a cooking culinary skill, then that's the first part. So what I did is I developed a whole hawker training program. I believe about 12, 15 years ago, I didn't know that hawker can be a UNESCO, right? So basically, after scaling them, we must create employment. Now, if we cannot create employment, right, we create small social enterprise business. So for example, in terms of employment, we place them in restaurants, cafe, after we train them, we place them, right? If we cannot place them, we create small initiative. Like for example, we have a dignity farm, which we train people autism to actually do urban farming, planting hydroponic planting, right? We have Dignity Wheel, which is a food delivery service based, that deliver food around on a wheelchair. We got Dignity Mama, which most of you will have heard of it, which is a second-hand bookshop at Kutepot NUH, in Kian Fong, Sengkang, and Changi Hospital. Which were mother and child selling second-hand books, right? So we collect book from you, and the mother and child will work together to actually sell the books. Then we got Dignity AI, which is an artificial intelligence. And what that means is basically it's a robot that we created. And the idea is to have people who are paralyzed or homebound paraplegic controlling a robot in a workplace. So in Dignity Kitchen, when you walk in, he will talk to you, can I see your vaccination, and trace forward together and so forth, right? There's a Dignity Kitchen, by the way, in Hong Kong. We started about 3 years ago, doing the same thing, creating job for various people. So the third thing we need to do is integrate back to society. So it's a hawker center where people come in, what better way to engage people and integrate is the hawker center. And then finally, the last one is inclusion, getting society to accept them. So over the years, we trained like 3,000, 4,000 by now, for the last 10 years. We also try to engage elderly from the home. We bring them out for lunch treat at the kitchen. So our approach is getting the people we're training, the special needs, to work with people who are elderly coming for lunch, and we get corporate to sponsor them. This is a talk about epilepsy. Over the years, we have actually managed and trained many people with epileptic fits. We have managed to place them. At the moment, there are 5 of them working here at the moment. So let's take case by case, and maybe I share you the challenges. And basically, at the end of the day, you realize that actually they're like anybody else, right? Let me start with I don't use the name, okay? Maybe Mr. R. Mr. R joined me, it's sort of actually the toughest case, actually. He joined me about 5 years ago. We trained him, and we actually tried to place him. But unfortunately, most employers are not familiar with fits, epilepsy. So after 2 jobs we placed him, it didn't work. And we take him back. But he's a very good worker, okay? So what happened is that certain things will trigger his epilepsy. And one of them is work stress. So every time he's stressed, he goes into a state. And what that happen is very simple. He will, first of all, he will shake, right? Then normally what we do is we put him, when he starts shaking, we know already. We put him on the either a chair or put it on the floor. But the most 20 minutes, 25 minutes, he came back to normal, right? Maybe I'll share you the symptom now. Some things you know, realize is that when he shakes, his cheek will tilt up, his head will tilt up, and his eyes will go up, right? I think it happens initially every 2 times a month. But now it's like 4 months, 5 months, sometimes 6, so far so good. It doesn't happen. And why we are able to explain, and this is because the work that is doing become routinized, meaning that his actual job is quite straightforward. He collect plates from the table, from the tray, return. He actually clean it, wash it, dry it, right? We also take charge of all the dustbins, and a job that is routinized. We're actually quite good at it now. Okay, so because maybe the job is routinized, he actually can take the routine. And routine has 2 things. One is the task he's performing, the other the time scale. So normally we now have to accept that we know what time he will do this and do certain thing. So Mr. R has been with us for many years now. I think the one time that was very tough was he has some family issue. And for something, he carried the family issue to work. This happened in 2 years ago, or 2 years ago. He went to a very bad state, which means he actually shakes a lot, and he starts celebrating. And it's the only time we actually call an ambulance. Because normally he would have just, after a while, the most is 5 minutes, he calm down already. So that is not. So, but he's a very good worker. He doesn't talk, he doesn't interact with people very well, and he just does his work, right? And he's very friendly. Case number 2, Miss R. Miss R is a very young lady, okay, young lady. Some people say it's hereditary. I really don't know. I'm not expert in epilepsy. But her case is a scare, it's the unknown. Every time you come to a new event or new situation, she will be very, very agitated. You can tell. How we tell is 2 things. The way she talks. She seems to slur her mouth, conversation. And the other thing that we know very well is that she'll sit there and she'll do this. She'll do this. And then slowly on, once she saw the head tilt, we know that she's not right. So what we do, we make her comfortable. She's only 23, 24. Make her very comfortable, right? And after a while, she'll calm down. She's looking after all my event, delivery, very good. She works very well. She engages everybody, and she likes to joke with everybody. But how we know that the fits is coming in is when you sit down quietly, right? And she'll do this. And that is the time that we like, okay, what do we need to do now? We normally get water for her and normally tell her to calm down. My people are very good. Having worked with us for the last 4 years, 5 years, they always hold her hand, and then the methylated spirit she'll rub and do it, and she just love it, right? Her case is quite good for us. It's about the most is within half an hour, 20 minutes, she's okay. So that's case number 2. Case number 3 is slightly more complicated. Let's call it Mr. S. Mr. S, maybe you all don't quite understand what I'm going to tell you now, but anyway, Mr. S is a young age. He has this fits thing, epilepsy fits. Actually, no, he's actually, in a way, he's also autistic. Parents bring him to temple, and maybe the parents believe that he's possessed or something like that, right? And from a young age, he went to temple, and he actually do a lot of stuff over in temple. He become a medium. He's actually, to him, to everybody think he's Smokong or monkey god, right? So, which every 7 months, the parents would bring him to do the temple thing, the medium thing where when they do all the funny thing, and he goes into a dance. Right. He also have fits, epilepsy, and he's also autistic. Right. He's fantastic worker. Honestly, he's one of the best worker I got so far. He's still working for me, by the way. Except when it comes to 7 months, things go funny. I don't know what is it that caused him to do what he does. He will do the dance around the place with one leg up and the hand go up. He'll do the dance. Then he'll sit down. Then after that, he would blank off. He'll blank off. Right. So initially, we're not used to it. But we are very fortunate in Project Dignity. We're surrounded by a lot of doctors, professionals. At first, we actually got him talking. Then we actually got this professional doctors to come and talk to him. So as to the diagnosis, we don't know. And then the doctor also don't want to share with us. So basically what we do is occasionally now, he actually calm down. He hasn't danced for the last 2.5 years, 3 years. Right. Because I told the parents, if you're going to bring him to the temple to do this, then they don't come and work for Dignity Kitchen. If not, then he can work. And now he's actually a store leader now, and he's doing very well. He can actually cover the whole thing. Does he still have fits? The last time, maybe last year, when he was in love and he was rejected by the girlfriend. So what I'm trying to say, anything can trigger them, right? And when he triggered, it was very tough. And when the girlfriend incident was really very tough, he compiles the whole. That's the longest we ever done. It's maybe 20 minutes, 30 minutes. Eventually, we tried to call the hospital, ambulance, while he refused to go. But fortunately for me, it calms down and things have stabilized. What I want to share you who are listening in is they're all like every one of us. There are 3 things you need to be aware of. Right. First of all, everyone has a certain characteristic before the fits, epilepsy comes in. It could be the the shakes. It could be the tilting of the head. It could be the just going down and then just coming down. You need to look for that part of the behavior, and it could be any time. By the way, it could be late in the afternoon, early in the morning, whatever it is. But we have come to work with them very well. To work with them. Second thing you need to know is educate your co-worker, people to work with. You see, for us, Project Dignity is very unique. Dignity Kitchen is very unique. We come across all kinds of issues here. And from the different issues, we learn to adapt and learn how to accommodate and be very patient. So the second thing I always tell you is that first, look at the characteristic when you start the fits. Second thing, very important, is educate the co-worker, people they work with. And I tell you, the people they work with are very good. They more or less understand how the situation about, and they are very understanding. Right. Thirdly, very importantly, be patient. Right. And they can be trained to work, and they can be an asset to the company because they are actually like any one of us, and they are very keen to know. Maybe because they know that they have a certain, this epilepsy, and maybe they know that there tends to be more accommodating. They tend to be more in an aspect of learning more than everybody else. And so far, by the way, I got 5 or 6 of them. So this is not just that. To be honest, so far they have done very well. So 3 things you need to understand when you have to come to this situation. Look for the characteristic pre-epilepsy. Secondly, educate the co-worker, people they work with or people that are around them, because you'll be surprised. They will be very good to handle when the situation arises. But don't be scared that if the situation cannot handle, do call the ambulance, because we are not expert and we do not know how to situation like that. So don't just call the ambulance, and ambulance are actually, they are professional and they know what to do. And you realize the epileptic fits is only for a period of time, After that, they come back to normal, and you'll be surprised. A lot of them don't know, what happened before, right? Especially the last one, that he dance, he do stupid thing, he all do over it. But after that, he doesn't know what happened. Right. Don't try to tell them. It doesn't matter if you don't tell them. It's not important. Which is why we to not be patient. They are like, don't forget that somebody's son, somebody's daughter, they have a family, And by the way, some are 30 something, they have this for many years. But I guess it's about accommodating and working with differently able people. Okay. So thank you very much for listening. And I hope my sharing experience will enlighten you on how you can work with people with epilepsy. Thank you.